Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to do your own French curl braids with custom blonde highlights. This is one of my favorite kind of braids and I keep coming back to this style. I mean, just look at the curls. You can't tell me it's not beautiful. So if you want to see how to get this style yourself, then just keep on watching. So the hair I'm using for this style is from Amazon, and this is what it looks like in the packaging. I got one pack of 1B in 26 inches and one pack of this 27-30 mix in 22 inches. And I'm going to use these colors together to give my braids some blonde ends and highlights throughout. Now both of these packs come with 8 bundles in them, but I only used about 5.5 bundles of the 1B and only 1.5 bundles of the 27-30 mix. And as you can see, they're both pretty long. It goes down to my butt, which I love. Now, of course, for this style, you'll also need a tail comb, scissors, your favorite gel or edge control, as well as some products to moisturize your hair. I'm using Cantu leave-in conditioner and also some shea butter to seal in the moisture. Alright, so to begin, I like to do all of my parts before I start braiding. Trust me, get yourself one of these 3-way mirrors from Amazon. It makes seeing your head so much easier and you can adjust the height too. If you struggle with parting your hair, I definitely recommend doing all of your parts the day before you actually braid your hair because the parting is actually the hardest part in my opinion. It took me about 3 hours just to do the parting, so I like to do this either the day before or just the morning before I do my braids. It can feel like a hassle in the moment, I'm not gonna lie, but it saves you a lot of time later on when you're doing the actual braids. So I like to part my hair starting from the back and I just make rows all around my head and cornrow it down so it's out of the way. If you don't know how to cornrow, you can flat twist it or just use some clips too. So as you can see, I just use my mirrors to make my rows and I add a little bit of edge control to the section before braiding it down. And that's all there is to it. This is how I like to do my parting, but your pattern may look a little different depending on how big you want your braids to be. Okay, now let's get into the braids. I already finished the back, so I'm going to show you how to do this from the sides. So to begin, you just want to take down one of your braided rows and then moisturize your hair with your favorite products. I'm going in with my leave-in conditioner and shea butter to make sure my hair is all moisturized before putting in my braids. Do not skip this step, okay? We love healthy, moisturized hair over here. All right, now let me show you how to use the French curl hair. So I like my French curl braids to be small. I personally don't like when the curls are too thick. So I'm taking a small piece of the black bundle first. And when you take each piece, make sure you pull hard because the curls get super tangled. So you got to use some force to separate the hair. Then I'm taking an even smaller piece of that blonde hair. This should be super tiny and you can put that piece away for now while we start with the black piece. And also note how I'm smoothing out the strands of each piece. This is to reduce frizz and tangles when I'm actually braiding the hair. So what you want to do is split your black piece into 2 unequal pieces, where one piece is half the size of the other. So you can think of it like one piece is 1/3 and the other piece is 2/3. Then you're going to take the smaller piece and loop it around that bigger piece. And the 2 sides of that small piece will become 1 strand, and this is how you create 3 strands to braid the hair. Now I apologize, it's hard for me to explain how I hold the hair, but what I do is I pinch 2 of the strands with my right pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and thumb. And then I pinch the 3rd strand with my left pointer finger, middle finger, and thumb. It'll make more sense when you see me doing the actual braid, I promise. So now that you have your braiding hair, you'll want to flip the hair over your head just like that and line it up with a small section of your hair. And what I like to do is I pinch a piece of my hair with my right pointer finger and thumb, and then I slide my left pointer finger through and grip that section of my hair and braid it in with the French curl hair. Then I repeat that with my other pointer finger, sliding it through my hair, gripping a tiny piece and braiding it in with the French curl hair. This technique is kind of like doing a really tiny cornrow where I'm braiding a small piece of my hair into the braid each time. I like to do this because it really secures the French curl hair into my natural hair, especially because this hair is super silky and slippery. So I do that about 3 times to attach the French curl hair, and then I just continue braiding down the hair like normal. Also, I keep looking to the side here because I was watching Bridgerton while doing my hair and it was getting real juicy at this point, okay? But anyways, this is the easy part and you can just continue braiding down for a bit. And you'll also want to add some more leave-in conditioner and some edge control to the ends of your hair to make sure they're nice and smooth and not sticking out of the braid. Then if you want to add in some colored hair, you're going to take that small piece of the blonde hair and line it up with the middle and outer strand of the braid. Then you just continue braiding while pinching that blonde piece. I'm going to slow it down and show you again. So once again, you line it up with the middle and outer strands and continue braiding while gripping that blonde piece. Feel free to watch that over and over again until you get it. After you do it a few times, it'll become like second nature. I promise. You can do it too, girl. Just keep on practicing and don't give up. Now you can just continue braiding down like normal. And as I did my hair, I realized the importance of using a very small piece of the blonde hair. And as I got further along, I started using even tinier pieces. I feel like it just blends in better that way as opposed to the blonde pieces looking too chunky. And I mainly used the 27 blonde color out of the mix. I used very little of the more reddish 30 color. So you could really do this with just 1B and 27. Also, you can decide how much of the curly ends you want to leave out. I braid mine pretty far down and I only like to leave out a little bit of the curls, but it also looks really cute when there's a lot of curls left out too. So when you get to the end, you're going to want to knot it to secure the ends. So what you'll do is take a very tiny strand and loop that around the braid, then pull the end through the hole to tie it. You should do this about 3 to 4 times to really make sure it's secure, and also make sure you're pulling on that knot really tight. Otherwise, it's just going to slip out. You could also try using nail glue. I mean, I personally don't like using nail glue, so I just knot it. But sometimes the knots do come out because the hair is so slippery, and you may have to redo the knots as you go, so just be mindful of that. But once your knot is tied and secured, that's all there is to it. And I just love the way this looks with the colored highlights at the bottom. I think it's such a cute look. So now you just have to repeat this process all over your head. This is definitely a time-consuming process, especially if you're doing them small like me. But just be patient and give yourself lots of breaks. I'm gonna be honest with you, this hair is not easy to work with at all. Like oftentimes I had to restart the braid I was working on because the hair is just so slippery and hard to grip. It also gets quite tangly, but I promise the final result is worth all the effort. So this is the next day. I finished the majority of my head and I left one piece so I could show you all how to do it one more time. So to start from the beginning, you're going to separate a small piece of French curl hair into 1/3 and 2/3. So you should have 2 unequal pieces, and then loop the small piece around to create 3 strands of hair, and also making sure to smoothen out the strands to reduce frizz. Then you will flip the hair over your head just like that and line it up with your section. And just like before, I'm pinching a small piece of my natural hair and sliding my pointer finger over it, gripping it and braiding it in with the French curl hair. Then I just repeat that with another tiny piece, using my pointer finger to slide over the hair, grip a tiny piece and add it into the braid. Again, I do that about 3 times to attach the French curl hair into my natural hair, and then I just continue braiding down like normal. I know a lot of people are into knotless braids nowadays, knotless this, knotless that, but for me, I want the knot, okay? I love a traditional box braid look with the knot. That's just me. I love it. I feel like it lasts longer and it works for me. So please don't come for me, all right? It's not knotless, I'm sorry. So then to add the highlights, you can take your tiny piece of blonde hair again and line it up with the middle and outer strands, then just continue braiding while gripping it tightly. And notice how I'm using an even smaller piece now, so you can see it blends in even better. And now you're in the home stretch and you can just continue braiding down. Now, like I said, this hair is difficult to work with, and even as I got to the top, I was still struggling with it a bit. Sometimes I would get these knots in the hair, and honestly, when that happens, you can just go in with some scissors and cut out the knot. Just be careful not to cut too much, otherwise you'll make your braid too short. So with this hair, you got to be mindful of how you're braiding and try not to fight with it too much, or else you'll just create unnecessary tangles. Then to finish it off like before, I take a tiny piece of the hair, loop it around the braid and tie it off. And I do that a few times, making sure to tie it really, really tight. And that's it. I'm done. Okay, let me tell you, there is no better feeling than finishing that final braid. But I'm just in love with the way this came out. I mean, come on, look at the curls, look at the color, okay? Just stunning. And you can do this all at home on your own, okay? If I can do it, you can do it too. So now I'm just going in with some finishing touches. I'm taking my oil mixture, which is just olive oil and castor oil, and I'm applying this all over my scalp. This feels really, really good after braiding your hair. You can also take some extra oil on your fingers and give yourself a nice scalp massage. You deserve it, girl, okay? It feels really good and it's great for stimulating blood flow and promoting hair growth. I'm also going in with some mousse all over my hair to smoothen any flyaways. You'll also want to apply some to your ends to smoothen out those curls. And then lastly, just take your scissors and trim off any straggly ends for a neat finish. And now I'm just tying my hair down with my hair scarf, and I'll be back after I do my makeup to show you all the final look. All right, I'm back. The face is beat, and this is the finished look. I think it came out so cute. I love the little blonde highlights throughout. I really wanted to create a custom highlight look instead of doing ombre, and it just came out perfectly. Here, I'm just putting my hair up into my favorite little half up, half down look. There are so many cute styles to do with French curl braids. So let me know what you think of these braids and if this is a style that you would try yourself. It can definitely be a challenge, but I always love the final result. Also, if you want to hear more of my final thoughts on this style, then just keep on watching. Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on here and talk to you about a few details with this hair because I think it came out super cute, but this really was a struggle to put in. French curl braids are not easy to work with. The braiding hair is not easy to work with. I've done this hairstyle maybe like 3 times now, and this was the hardest time. I don't know, I really struggled with the braiding hair this time. So one thing to note is that it will take you a long time. I started my hair at 10 a.m. yesterday and I finished at 3 a.m. this morning. And I did take a few breaks here and there, but in total that's like 17 hours of doing my hair. And yeah, it's not fun. So if you're a beginner, if you're going to do French curl braids, you want to try it out, just know it will take a lot of time and you got to be patient. So block off a day or 2 days, whatever you need to do, and focus on doing your hair. The other thing is this hair is super like slippery. It's like this silky texture, right? So it's not like traditional braiding hair. So it does make it tough to grip. And that's what took me a long time when I was doing it. The issue was that like, I can't grip my hair as easily as regular braiding hair. So sometimes I'd have to like restart the piece that I was working on, and that takes time. So just keep that in mind. And the other thing, if you want to add color to your braids like this, I didn't mix the hair pre-hand because I felt like that was going to get really tangled and messy. So I just added small pieces of the colored hair to my braids as I was going. So if you do want to do this, make sure you add very tiny pieces of hair. So for the blonde pieces, as you can see, I was using very tiny pieces, because as soon as you use a big piece to add in, it's going to look too chunky and it's not going to be blended in nicely. So when you're adding in colored hair, you want to add in highlights or whatever, just use very small pieces. And yeah, that's all I would say for this style. It's super cute. I'm going to keep this in for at least a month because it took me forever. But let me know if you will try this hairstyle. Let me know what you think about French curl hair braids, and I'll see you in the next video.